they needed more space. It was a bit controversial at the time. Last year, councils came back.
The way he treats his friends and keeps his friends, you'll find he's still in touch with just about everybody he's ever known.
He's a very humble man. He's always, he's quite self-effacing about his own accomplishments.
He respects where people come from, and he is a natural conciliator.
You could spend a year with him and not get bored. You find that you're having a conversation and, oh my goodness, I'm supposed to be meeting my wife and instead I'm talking with you.
Well, I was born and raised in or near Hardisty, Alberta. When we were first on the ranch, we didn't have power, we had to go outside to go to the bathroom. And it was pretty much like the pioneers had it. And if there was anything that was drummed into the heads of me and my sister, it was that we were going to university. And I've always thought that my experience here laid the foundation for what happened later. Whether you were chairing the board of directors of a company or arguing a case in front of the National Energy Board, all those things that you learned back in those days helped you. There were some amazing individuals that went through the U of A in those years, and because we had a model parliament in those days, we actually all got to carry on debate with one another and pretend we were real politicians.
Francis actually rose to be the president of the student union here in 1965. And what you may not realize is Francis was one of the key movers behind the student union building, which became the model for all universities across this country.
I just loved it. And as I like to say to people, that's when my political career peaked out, because I didn't go beyond that in later life. We were studying in the large room on the second floor of the Rutherford Library. And I spotted this very attractive girl and thought maybe we should have coffee. So I got up and went over and asked her if she would be interested in going downstairs for a cup of coffee. And I was pleasantly surprised when she said yes. That was 1961, and we're only 2 years away from our 50th wedding anniversary. I went to Calgary and joined what was then quite a large firm.
Fraser Milner Casgrain handled all of our regulatory matters. Francis quarterbacked all of our major environmental hearings over the full 17 and a half years I was at Syncrude. And Francis' work actually set the bar pretty high for regulatory hearings in the environmental regulation area and also for Aboriginal law.
He was a principal force in recognizing that if there was going to be progress on energy issues with Aboriginal groups, there had to be genuine consultation with and involvement of Aboriginal groups in the discussions. And I think it started a pattern that the industry generally followed.
The assignment as the chair of Canada Olympic Park in 1985 to 1988 was probably the most intense challenge. Little did I know that this was, when I said yes, that this was a 2.5-year assignment, that there wasn't a day went by that you didn't have to do something. I mean, you had somebody responsible for ceremony, someone for parking, somebody for transportation. It was a massive undertaking.
Francis was chosen to take the most difficult place in this organization. We're talking about 10,000 people who were volunteers for the Games in a big way.
For the opening ceremonies, we had 4 tickets, but our family was 5. And it hadn't been decided who wasn't going to go to the opening ceremonies.
And what should happen, but he had an emergency, had to go to the hospital and have his appendix removed.
The operation was Saturday morning and he was back in the office on Monday morning. 12
to 15 hours a day. That is the kind of person that we all should be looking for when we are putting things together of public interest. It's not just being a good lawyer. It goes beyond that. It's being a good person.